How do all, and welcome back to Immersion Gaming. Right, again we've had a few days break after finishing Heavy Rain, which we finished a few days back. To be quite honest, for the past 3 or 4 days I think it is now, I've been upgrading my racing sim again. So as you saw in the video that I did last time for the racing sim, I had a Logitech G29, which I'll show you there, which is an all-in-one set. So, well, I say an all-in-one set, you have to buy the shifter separately, but it's a set that only works together on its own. You can't use the parts separately with any other setup. It's all one unit. You can only use it with Logitech other parts basically. So yeah, it's a G29 with the pedals. That comes as one, the steering wheel and the pedals, and then you've got the shifter which comes separately. I think I paid around £350, maybe a bit more, all inclusive with the shifter and everything, about a year ago. Well anyway, I have now upgraded my rig, and I have now gone Thrustmaster, which not only is a step up as in realism, because basically the Logitech is a cog driven wheel, so basically you've got 2 motors either side of the wheel, and then you've got a huge cog on the back of the steering wheel, and them 2 motors are connected to that huge cog by 2 small cogs. So obviously they turn the wheel. Now because it's all cog driven, you can feel the grooves in the cogs. You know, it's not smooth basically, so you got a jaggedness. But not only that, it's noisy when you're playing. Especially with me, I live in a high-rise flat, so and I've got laminate flooring. So you can imagine my racing sim goes straight down onto laminate flooring, and the wheel, when I'm playing, especially late on the night, it can half make some frigging noise, and that'll get transmitted down with the vibrations through the sim into the laminate flooring. So I can imagine them below don't love me at the moment hearing that. So yeah, anyway, so not only that, the motors that are in that aren't that strong. So although it's still a very, very good starter wheel for anyone that's thinking of getting into sim racing, I definitely say that it's worth getting as a starter, because it's the low end wheel when you're talking about force feedback wheels. There is even lower end wheels than that, but they're the ones that don't have force feedback. So you can get ones basically that just have like bungee cords inside at back at wheels, so when you turn your wheel you're pulling a bungee cord inside, and all that does is when you let go it springs back to centre it, because it's bungee, because it's elastic, that's all. But there's no actual force feedback. You can't feel if you're losing traction, or if your back end's kicking out, or if you're understeering, or you can't feel anything like that. It's just literally a wheel that turns in the same way as your controller would, on your analog stick. There's no force feedback at all, but whereas the Logitech is the lower end force feedback wheel, the one where you can still actually feel if you're losing traction or all like that. So yeah, it's a very good starter wheel for anyone that's thinking of getting into sim racing. So yeah, anyway, I got a friend of mine had a T300 Thrustmaster servo base, which is the wheel base. But the good thing about Thrustmasters is that they're interchangeable with the steering wheels, for depending on what game you're playing. So if you're playing rallying, you want one of them big round rally wheels, but then you've got your smaller with flat bottom wheels for like your normal track racing and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just good that you can get your Formula 1 wheels as well, your normal Formula 1 wheels. So yeah, that's a good thing as well, that I can interchange wheels. But anyway, he had a base, a T300 Thrustmaster base without the wheel, that was suffering from it's a common fault with them units where the fan that came as standard in the unit starts failing eventually, because it wasn't adequate to cool the motor that's in them, because it's quite a big motor, so it gives off a lot of heat. and they didn't put a fan that were adequate enough in it. So after time, the fan starts dying, as fans do, the bearings in them start going, and they get noisy. But not only that, it stops being able to cool the motor adequately. So what happens then is it starts pulling the force feedback down to keep cooler, so you start losing feeling basically. So yeah, he gave me the base basically and just said, if you can do it with it, then it's yours, you know. So what I've done is I've bought a Noctua. Now anybody that builds PCs or all like that know that Noctua are like one of the best makes you can get in fans, cooling systems and that. So I bought a Noctua fan that's the same size fan as the one that's in it, but a lot fatter. So it's got a lot more pushing power basically, so it can move a lot more air. So yeah, I've done a bit of soldering involved, because the Noctua fan were a 4-pin PWM fan, whereas the fan that were in the base were only a 2-pin positive and negative fan. You know, there were no PWM on it. So basically I had to solder the 2 live and negative wires onto the new Noctua fan and then plug that in. Anyway, that's all done now, so it should be nice, and not only nice and cool now and not lose force feedback at all, but it also should be nice and quiet, because that fan is way quieter than the original fan that come in them. So yeah, so because I had that and I'd upgraded the cooling in it, thought, right, well I'll go Thrustmaster now, because they are better anyway. And this Thrustmaster base is belt driven, so unlike the Logitech where you get your 2 motors with big cog in the middle, the Thrustmaster one has one big motor with a belt, like a fan belt sort of thing, going to a gearbox, and then another belt going from the gearbox to the wheel. And what that gearbox does is, it's so that there's a balance between torque, so power, you know, how much it can pull you, to latency, because basically latency is a delay. You don't want to see a bump on screen and then feel the bump through wheel a second later, you know, because that just straight pulls you out of immersion. You want to feel it as soon as you see it. So yeah, that's the trade-off. It's between latency and power. So that's what the gearbox is for. They've got the ratio just right. So yeah, you've got a belt going from the motor to the gearbox, from the gearbox to the wheel, and it's a hell of a lot more powerful than that Logitech was. A hell of a lot more powerful. So yeah, I bought a GT wheel for that, which is bigger than the wheel on the Logitech, and the Thrustmaster also. The Logitech only had 900 degrees of rotation, which isn't enough. Most cars don't only have 900 degrees. Well, no car has 900 degrees of rotation. So basically what that meant is, because I play it in VR, when I were turning, say if I turned my wheel 90 degrees, the wheel on the car in the game in front of me would be turning just short of 180 degrees. So it were throwing me off when I were only turning 90 degrees, but I could see the wheel and in the game turning way more than that. And that's because the Logitech only has 90 degrees of rotation. Now the Thrustmaster has 1080 degrees of rotation, which is about right for what a car has. And now I've noticed, whatever I turn the wheel, my physical wheel, the wheel in the game turns the same. So when I'm in VR now and I'm driving, it's just way more immersive, because it matches what I'm doing. You know, the driver in the game matches what I'm doing on my wheel. And the force feedback is way more powerful and more detailed. I can feel way more about what's going on in the car and on the road. Yeah, like I said, on the Logitech I could feel if I was losing traction or if I were understeering or whatever. But in this, I can feel even more what's going on, you know what I mean? So it's just way more immersive for when I'm racing and stuff like that, because in real life, that's what a driver relies on. It's not just what he can see with his eyes. You feel what's going on with the car through the wheel. You know, it gives you so much information, just the feeling through the wheel. You feel the road, basically. You even know what surface you're on, you know, through how it feels through the wheel, subconsciously. And that's what you get through force feedback through a decent wheel. So yeah, I've been messing about with it. I've also bought a TH8A shifter from Thrustmaster as well, which is probably one of the best shifters that Thrustmaster do. It's a big metal shifter, and it's much more substantial than the little shifter that you get with the Logitech. I'll show you the picture of it here so you see what I mean. It's a big metal thing, but it feels like you're actually putting something into gear with that, instead of it being a little flimsy plastic gearbox that doesn't really feel like much. You know what I mean? What I've noticed the difference between that as well is the throw. So the Logitech had a very short shifter, so it was a very short throw, you know, to get into gear and stuff. Whereas this Thrustmaster has got a much longer shifter arm, so you got much more of a throw. You can buy a modified shifter arm if you want, you know, shorten it to make it short throw again, but I think I prefer to have the long throw, because in most cars that I've driven it's had a longer gear stick. You know, you don't have a small gear stick about that big unless you're buying a sports car or something. So yeah, I like the longer throw for now, and I can always buy a shorter one if I want to do that. And not only that, the Thrustmaster shifter also comes with a sequential plate, so I can put the sequential plate on, and that's where you're just going up or down, you know, for your gears. So up that one, and then knock it back so your sequential gears basically, which a lot of rally cars and that have sequential gears. I haven't used that yet, but I have got the plate for it, and it's just a round plate with one oval shaped hole in the middle, you know, just enough for it to move forward and backward, the gear shift. Obviously for cyclical, and it's got like springs behind so that it pulls it back to the centre after you knock a gear up and down and that. So yeah, that'll be something I'll maybe have a go at another time. But yeah, it just gives me a lot more options basically. So as well, because with Thrustmaster there's a load of different stuff you can buy, it means now if I ever decide in future to go direct drive, which is the really enthusiast level racing wheels, it basically direct drive means there's no belts or cogs or all like that. You just, your wheels joined to the motor, so you've got a motor, the shaft of the motor, and the wheels on the other end of it, you know what I mean? And that's the strongest and the most powerful force feedback you can get, but they are very, very expensive. That's when you're going into enthusiast level stuff there, and I don't really play it enough at this point to justify paying that sort of money. But the thing is, now that I'm with Thrustmaster, if I ever do decide to go direct drive, I would only need to upgrade my base, because the wheels, the pedals and the shifter will all work with another Thrustmaster direct drive base. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to have to upgrade the whole lot again at once, which is what's really where the expense comes from when I'm having to do it all. Because obviously with this one I had to buy the pedals, I had to buy a wheel, and I had to buy the shifter because I only had the base, so it was quite expensive. But now that I've got them all, like I said, I can just upgrade the bits that I want. That shifter, I don't think I'll ever need to upgrade, because like I say, that's probably one of the best shifters that Thrustmaster make. So yeah, I think I'll be fine with that one. The pedals are the T3P something, I think they're called, T3P something, I can't remember what it was. But they're pretty good pedals as well. There is load cell pedals which are a bit more accurate and a bit more realistic feeling, which eventually I might get, you know what I mean? But for now anyway, I've upgraded my sim. It's way more realistic than it was, way more powerful. I mean, I've got the force feedback on about 90%. So I was racing in what was it? I was racing yesterday. It was a proper old school racing car. I suppose it was one of the first racing cars that ever came out, you know, when cars have just become a thing basically. One of them really, really old school racing cars that are right long, just like long tubes with wheels, like uncovered wheels at each end, and a big exhaust going down side. I can't remember the name of them, but it's a proper, I don't know exactly what date, it'll either be late 1800s or early 1900s, one of the first ever racing cars basically. And I noticed when I was driving that, obviously because there's no power steering or any help at all in them days with steering, how stiff it was, and because I had the force feedback on about 9%, I really had to pull the wheel to get the car to turn around the corners. And that's when I realised just how much torque there is in that wheel. but it's so accurate to each vehicle, you know, that when you get in the newer ones, it's so easy to turn it around. But then you get in an old, say, Mark II Escort, and you are struggling to turn the wheel, because that's exactly how them cars were. There were no power steering out in them days, you know what I mean? So that's good. I love that realism. Because what I've been doing since I've set it up, I've just been playing on Project Cars 2 basically, and I've been going through just every single car, because there's like a list of all the makers just in alphabetical order. So obviously your Audi, then you'll have B for BMW, and just goes like that down. So I've just been going down the list and trying every single car just to see the differences and how each car feels, you know, and how realistic it feels. And it's mind-blowing. It really is mind-blowing how accurate it is. So yeah, anyway, I digress. That's what I've been doing for the past 3 or 4 days now. But I have now decided what game I am going to be playing next. And it's one that I've had for a month or 2 now, and I've been wanting to play it and put it on the channel, but the other games that I've put on had to come first, for various different reasons. So the game that we're going to be playing next is Solis. Now this game only came out last year, 2023, and it's a horror adventure. And basically it's set in 2080, so it's not too far in future. It's what, about 70, no, not 70, is it? About 50 odd years, 2080. Yeah, it's about 56 years in future. And it's set on Mars, so we've got a mining facility on Mars. And I think your character that you were playing was working on Mars but doing something else, and then he received this emergency alert that had been activated in this mining facility on Mars. So your character that you play are going to have a look what's going on to, you know, find out why this emergency alert's been activated. And that's where the game starts, is you go into this facility and it all pans out from there. So like I said, it came out last year, 2023. It's made in Unreal Engine 5.2, so top end Unreal Engine. I don't know if you've looked into how good Unreal Engine is, but it is top end. You know, it's really, the graphics on Unreal Engine 5 is unbelievable. So it's like photorealistic, it's brilliant. The developers of the game was Fallen Leaf and Drakkar Games, I think they were called, or something, and it was published by Dear Villagers. So I don't want to say much more than that, as I always do with these trailers. I don't really say too much because I don't want to give you any spoilers out. I don't like that, and plus I don't know too much about it myself. As I've told you before, I don't look too deep into it. I just watch the trailer, which is the same trailer I'm going to show you, and I have a brief read over the storyline just to make sure it's something that I think I'll enjoy and that'll be good for the channel. And yeah, I like what I hear so far. It's sort of a bit like the one that we just played before Heavy Rain, the Invincible, but it's on Mars. You know, instead of where was that? I can't remember where it was. Oh, Regis 3 won it on Invincible. So yeah, this is on Mars, that's in our solar system, so it's more true to life is this one. And I think it's more of a horror, this one, whereas that one was just more of a mystery adventure sort of thing, wasn't it, the Invincible? This is more of a dark horror bit in space. So yeah, I don't want to say much more than that. So I think without further ado, what we'll do is, because I've babbled on enough, we're talking about the frigging wheel and that already, Emma. So without further ado, we'll watch the trailer, let you have a look at it, see what you think. Then I'll wrap this up, get it all done. Then hopefully I'll get this put on for you tomorrow, which will be Monday. And then I'll start the game, obviously, Monday night and put it on for you Tuesday. I'm going to have a bit of delay going on with my videos in the next few weeks because I've got an operation coming up on my eye. On my right eye, because I'm losing my sight in my right eye, which it's a long running thing. I've had laser surgery on my eye about a year ago and it's coming back. So I'm now having to go for proper surgery where they're going to put me under and take my lens off my eyeball or something and put me a bionic lens on, which I'm not looking forward to be quite honest, but if it's going to if it's got a chance of saving the sight I've got still in my right eye, then I'll go for it. But there's risks involved in the surgery too, that I might go blind even with the surgery, because surgery can go wrong. So rocking in a hard place basically. I either don't have it and risk losing the sight in my eye, or I do have it and risk losing the sight in my eye. So it's one of them things in it. So yeah, I've got that upcoming in the next few weeks. So at the moment they've got me on some medication that I have to take that's making me feel proper weird. I can't explain how it's making me feel, but it's to drain fluids out of my body, so I'm constantly peeing with this freaking medication, because that's what's building pressure in my eye or something, fluids. So it's to drain fluids out, to stop it from doing that until I go to surgery. So yeah, I'm constantly dehydrated, constantly drinking. I'm tingling all the time. It makes my hands and my feet and everything tingle constantly. It's really, really weird. And I always feel right lightheaded and stuff. It's proper weird. So yeah, anyway, what I'm trying to say is for the next few weeks, it's going to be a bit of a miss, because I might not be up to playing the game one day or something like that if I feel trapped, because I do feel crap, and I'm sleeping a hell of a lot because of it all as well. So yeah, just bear with me if there's a break in me one day not uploading or that. You know why? It's just because everything's up in air at the moment with freaking surgery and that. But I will do my best to stick to a schedule of uploading as much as I can. So yeah, anyway, without further ado, here is the trailer for Fort Solis.
I need to make contact with Solis.
Don't even risk the LTV in the storm.
Jack Leary responding to Fort Solis alarm. Is everything okay over there?
Be careful. I think something is off here.
Jess, how many people are in Solis?
The system lists 6.
There's an incident here.
An incident? What kind of incident?
I don't know!
Well, what the hell is going on there?
Someone was down there with me. I'm heading back up to the surface level now.
You need to get out of there now!
I'm still in here!
Jack! Answer me!
So there we go, that was the trailer for Fort Solis. Again, looked really good, I think. The graphics look quite realistic, but again, it is made in Unreal Engine 5.2, so I would expect it to look real, you know, because that's the whole thing about Unreal Engine 5. It's photorealistic, you know, it's unbelievable. So I am expecting the graphics to be spot on with this, and obviously I will be playing it in 4K as always. So it should look great. As always, if you want to watch it in 4K, which is how I'll be playing it, you'll have to watch it on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, because Facebook only allow me to upload maximum of 1080p. So you can still watch it on Facebook if that's how you want to watch it, but it will only be at 1080p. If you want to watch the full 4K goodness, go to the YouTube channel and watch it. But yeah, anyway, I hope it's something that you like the look of, that you think you might enjoy, and if so, come and join us for it, and let's sit and chill together and see how the story unfolds. So as always, peeps, if you would like to support Immersion Gaming and support me on this journey, and say thanks for effort that I'm putting in to learn all this, as always, it's completely free to do. I'm not asking for your money or out like that, just basically asking for your support, and the ways to do that, quick, simple, as simple as clicking a button basically. If you can click the like button, the thumbs up button under either YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching it, as I've told you before, that helps with the algorithm pushing our video out to more people. If you can follow the Immersion Gaming Facebook page, that also obviously helps the channel grow on Facebook, but it also allows me to start doing stuff like live streaming again and stuff on Facebook. But the main way to help Immersion Gaming grow, to help me on this journey and to become part of the Immersion Gaming community, is to click the subscribe button on the Immersion Gaming YouTube channel. That is how this channel is going to grow. That is what's going to allow me to be able to start doing this full time, which is what's going to open doors for much better content, way more variety, and all the good things that will come with that. So yeah guys, if you could do that, I would really appreciate it. You'd be helping me out massively. I can't stress to you how much you'd be helping me out, and hopefully in the near future is when I can start then giving something back to you guys to say thank you for your support. So yeah guys, hopefully you'll come and join us on, hopefully it'll be Tuesday when I'll put part 1 on there. That's what I'm aiming for anyway. So yeah, hopefully you'll come and join us then for part 1 and see if it's something you'll enjoy. So until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye.